Alright, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC 283. Main event, light heavyweight title fight between Glover Teixeira and Jamahal Hill. Hill's going to be 2 inches taller. He's going to have a 3-inch advantage in reach. Glover, of course, the far older fighter at 43. Hill coming back 31, soon to be 32. But I guess I'll start with Hill. Just been nothing but outstanding for the most part. The only loss he's had in the UFC was against Paul Craig, where his shoulder got dislocated when he got caught in that armbar. Didn't tap. Just shows how tough he is. But yeah, thankfully his arm was not nearly as injured as it initially looked, because it was pretty gruesome. Just had full on pool noodle for an arm. But other than that, man, he's just been knocking people out, knocking out up and coming light heavyweights and derailing a lot of hype trains. Jimmy Crute, right hook, puts him out in the first round. Johnny Walker, same deal. Both of those knockouts were devastating. It was the same thing early on. Clidson and Brew took care of him early. I think they took that one away because Jamahal Hill tested positive for weed, which I'm pretty sure they don't do that anymore, which is, thank God. It's like vacating wins in college football. It's just not going to take away what happened. But anyway, yeah, man, it's just all knockouts for Jamahal Hill. And, we talk about all the time, if you're talking about fighting, power is just one of the main attributes that gets evaluated. But when I think of raw power in the UFC, Jamahal Hill is at the top of the list. Primarily southpaw. When he connects with that left at full extension, it puts people to sleep. His hooks are really good too. This guy can brawl. And we've seen, a lot of people point to that Thiago Santos fight, and they worry for this one because Thiago was able to take him down a couple times. I'm glad that he was tested like that. His opponents have tried to take him down in the past. That seems to be the only way you're going to beat him. Not a lot of people want to trade with him for good reason. But, yeah, Santos was able to take him down. But overall, Jamahal Hill showed good get-up ability, defended the takedowns well overall, looked good in the clinch. And you got to imagine he's going to be game planning that hard in this one. Jamahal Hill always seems to game plan well and learn things in between his fights. Just seems very dedicated to his craft. I know I sound like Chris Collinsworth here with the generic, this guy is a football player. But Jamahal Hill really does dedicate himself to getting better, and it's easier said than done. So I expect him to be training when he needs to train. Obviously, the takedown defense, the sprawls, all that. He knows what he's going to have to train for, and he's going to have the clear power advantage in this one. But for Glover Teixeira, just not aging at all, just really incredible. Everybody loves Glover. Everybody loves what he's doing, and I think everybody's going to be rooting for him, even if you put money on Jamahal Hill, unless you're somebody who puts way too much. Just don't be that guy. Don't do that. But anyway, everybody's going to be rooting for Glover Teixeira in this one, man. Money aside. And it's just wild in that Jiri fight how he was able to take that amount of damage at this age and just have a very competitive fight that he was looking like it was looking like it could go either way. I don't know what the scorecards were in that one. I didn't look, but Jiri was just able to lock in that rear naked choke in the 5th round. One of the best UFC fights of all time for sure. But before that, he picks up the win as a decent-sized underdog against Jan Blachowicz, wins the title at 42 years old. Awesome. In Abu Dhabi. In hindsight, that pick made a lot of sense. I didn't pick it, but it was very enticing. Obviously, wish I did. But, yeah, man, Glover just went on a run late in his career, and it just hasn't stopped. Just been taking out the top contenders of light heavyweight one by one, forced the UFC to give him a title shot, and he certainly still got it. I mean, you do have to wonder where the chin is at this level. I mean, with all the damage he's taken in his career, but so far so good. I mean, it gets to a point where there's just going to be no tread left on the tires, so we do have to watch, especially after a damaging fight against Jiri. You're going up against probably the worst guy you want to go up against if you're worried about chin, but I'm not necessarily worried about Glover's chin, man. I mean, until we see otherwise, but it obviously does need to be said. The main thing in this one is going to be, can Glover get the fight to the ground? He's always been great on the ground with submissions and ground and pound. Trains a lot of fighters now, getting into coaching. So, Yeah, we know what the paths are for both fighters here. Glover is going to want to look to wrestle, and Jamahal Hill is going to be looking for the knockout on the feet. Glover, of course, well versed on the feet too, but we look at the odds here: -125 for Jamahal Hill, +105 for Glover. Money has been coming in on Glover ever so slightly, but it's kind of holding firm where it is. And I gotta side with Jamahal Hill here. I know a lot of people probably looked at this Glover underdog spot in Brazil, and it looks very enticing. It's a coin toss of a fight. Glover could easily win this fight. I had to give it a long look, but I just think that Jamahal Hill is very legit, man. He's got the talent and the commitment, and I just think that it's just a different kind of power. Like, yeah, Glover took all that damage against Jiri. He's shown he can take damage his whole career. Lots of bounce back wins when he started this run to get to the title. Like Ion Cutelaba, perfect example against a burner. But with Jamahal Hill, he's not a burner. He's a guy who sets up the perfect knockout shot, and I just don't see Glover being able to stand up to it. And I'm thinking Jamahal Hill by knockout in the second round. Let's say, don't know if I'm looking to round bet this fight, but that's how I think it's going to go. I just think the power is too much. The takedown defense from Jamahal Hill is sneaky, and if he can make Glover pay on some of these entries with one of these right hooks, I think it's going to be game over eventually. So could go either way, man. If you're going to pick Glover, totally understand. You know, the path is there for sure, but I just think Jamahal Hill's legit, and I like him to win this fight by knockout and become the first Contenders Series champ, I believe. So UFC probably really wants that to happen. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe, and take it easy.